Welcome, MDRT members. I want to first congratulate you on your extraordinary success. You're a top-of-the-table producer, so clearly you're doing something right. It's a privilege to speak to you today about mastering your digital brand, a topic I am extremely passionate about and one that I hope excites you too. We're going to cover a lot of ground in this session, so be prepared to take plenty of notes. As we explore this together, what I want to do is help you examine yourself, your practice's success, and create some digital scale and capacity that you may not have yet tapped into. I want to help you keep climbing and be better than ever before. There's no doubt we are in the digital economy, and this digital frontier presents both challenges and opportunities for financial professionals. Many of us have enjoyed tremendous success working face-to-face with clients and building a great referral network that contributes to our current growth and success. The opportunity that lies before us, however, is to take our relationship building success into the online frontier. So let's go through a quick scan of the landscape of not just our industry, but our economy. I like to level set and be honest with everybody, right? Technology is here and it's here to stay. This is not a fad. I don't see us going back to dial-up internet or rotary phones anytime soon. Nope, not even the hipsters can bring that back into fashion. However, no matter how many times I talk about the digital economy, especially as it relates to our industry, I find there's always a few naysayers out there and a handful of folks that quietly cross their arms, lean back in their chairs, and like to silently judge me from the back of the room. So if that's you, don't worry. I have a few things that might surprise you. This is not my first rodeo. How is this relevant to our industry? Well, in an era of disruption, we are not immune. If you run an AUM or assets under management style of practice, did you know that over $50 billion is currently being managed by computers? So try this one on for size. Hey Alexa, balance my portfolio for me. Maybe you're somebody that likes to write disability insurance. Do I have any DI geeks or DI concierges out there? Well, I want to introduce you to Breeze. You should check it out for yourself at meetbreeze.com. What's Breeze? Well, it's a direct-to-consumer disability product supported by a major industry carrier, Assurity. And perhaps my personal favorite for all of us big-time life insurance agents, you know who you are, we love you, that's why you're here, working for amazing companies like Guardian, Northwestern Mutual, New York Life. Let me introduce you to Haven Life. What is Haven Life? It's a direct-to-consumer term life product that pays no agent commissions, and it is supported by, drumroll please, you guessed it, Mass Mutual, one of the oldest tried and true career agency systems in the industry. So if a company that bleeds blue for its agents has developed a product that cuts the agent out, I just want you to ask yourself what that might say for the future. Whether we like it or not, our new reality is this: consumers of all kinds can now accomplish a significant amount of their financial goals online and without the help of a professional or an advisor. So are you prepared? It does not matter what kind of practice we have or how successful we've been. If this pandemic has exposed anything, it's our need for digital capacity. So, what are you going to do about it? The currency of the day in our economy is this. What sells the most in today's economy? What are people looking for online? Well, as Dennis Mosley Williams likes to emphasize, we are in the experience economy. An experience is about hyper-personalization and customization, maintaining an audience-focused mentality. It's about meeting people where they are, connecting with them on a deeper and more meaningful level, and delivering them something unique that they can't find anywhere else. The most successful companies in today's economy are building themselves around one single focus: creating an exceptional consumer experience, one that goes beyond just products and solutions, but connects to how people think and feel. How clients and prospects experience the totality of our practices matters more now than ever before. From onboarding to execution to ongoing service and care. Offering a superior experience is the best way to not just stay in business, but to grow your business, since the best way to get referrals is to be referable. And nothing refers better than an amazing experience. So I want to guide us down a paradigm shift moment for a second. How can we elevate our thinking away from sales, marketing, body counts, insurance and assets under management, and move towards brand development and engagement? You see, brand thinking is big picture thinking. It doesn't just encompass what you do functionally as a professional, such as managing people's assets, delivering insurance, doing financial planning. It connects with how your clients and your prospects feel about you, what meaning are you adding to their lives, and how their world is better because they have you in it. The critical truth we all need to embrace is this: people are not buying our stuff or our expertise. They're buying us. Branding is all about brand you. And nothing's going to tell that brand better than storytelling. You got to figure out what unique story you can tell. I love storytelling because it's the oldest form of human communication. For example, how do most of us answer the very simple question we all get asked? Hey, what do you do? I don't know about you, but I like to answer that question this way. I help people make financial decisions that they want to make, but they just don't know how to make. You see, I'm passionate about empowering people to live enriched lives and not be held captive by financial stress. So my role is really part educator and part advocate, to help clear through the confusion and enable my clients to choose wisely and move forward with confidence. So I guess you could say I'm in the human transformation business. However, to really stand out from the crowd, you need to take that answer a step further. And don't just tell people what you do, tell them why you do it. It's critical that we connect with why. Why deals with belief, addresses motivation, and is a considerably more compelling reason for someone to choose you over countless other people just like you. It's probably the best way you're going to stand out digitally as well as relationally. So what's my story? What's my why? Well, it might surprise you to know this, but the foundation for my business success started when I was 8 years old, and I asked my father at the breakfast table one morning, "Hey Dad, can I have a allowance?" Seemed like a completely reasonable question to me, but my father felt a little bit differently. To this day, I don't honestly remember how he told me no. I just remember not hearing those coveted words, "Sure, son, now that you're old enough, that seems fair." And as my father tells it today, his reasoning was this: it just didn't make any sense to start paying a kid money simply because he'd aged. Go figure. You see, my father was the son of two Depression-era Indiana farmers, and he had always worked for absolutely every penny he'd ever received in his life. So to him, this felt like an opportunity to teach me a lesson. So let's fast forward a few more weeks. My dad sits down at the breakfast table with me again and hands me a newspaper ad that says, "Paper delivery position available." You see, he framed it as a great way to make more money than I would have likely made from an allowance, which, according to him, was zero. So I said what any naive 8-year-old would say. Sure, I guess so. Just like that, I had my first job. And it was a job that I would end up doing for 11 more years until I graduated from high school. It was a job I actually did well enough to earn a small scholarship for college for. Delivering newspapers 365 days a year to 72 houses in my neighborhood at 5 a.m. each day, rain or shine. Every young boy's dream, right? But beyond the meager amount of income it provided me, those 11 years were some of the most formative moments of my life. A couple lessons actually really stuck out to me that I continue to apply today. So let's go back to that question of experience. The first and most significant lesson I learned when I started this job was what my dad told me. If you're going to do anything, do it with excellence. And it sounded good, but I had no idea what it meant. But when you considered what everyone's usual experience was with getting the newspaper, it started to make a lot more sense. My father taught me that you don't just throw newspapers on everyone's lawn. While that may be faster and more convenient, it was also a careless way to do things. We needed to walk each paper up to the door of the house and either put it behind the screen door if it was unlocked, or leave it under the person's mat if it was locked, ensuring the paper would not accidentally blow away by the wind and protecting it from rain and the elements. This meant that every person we delivered a paper to would barely need to leave the comfort of their home in order to get their paper. There'd be no search of the lawn in a robe or boxer shorts, no soggy papers because those thin plastic bags offered little protection from the elements. No, hey, did a dog run off with it or maybe pee on it? It was a lesson in considering our audience, and it was a lesson in caring for those people we can serve. You see, there are many ways we can do a job, but only one way that would be considered excellent. So, we deliver more than financial solutions now. We provide human dignity, and that's a very different story. We are all in the people business. Everything we do has a professional face to it, and a personal one as well. From the smallest auto policy to the largest multi-million-dollar 412E plan and everything in between, what we deliver as professionals is designed to take better care of society and take better care of people. So there's no better way to have a brand that recognizes that. But what are all the elements of a brand? What are the puzzle pieces that need to come together to make your brand exceptional? Well, what do you think of when you see this logo? I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Disney invented something quite remarkable. It's called the money tree. Nope, it's not a movie. That's right. All they need to do is shake the money tree, and wherever the Disney logo is, money falls right out of your pocket. All kidding aside, thinking about a logo means you have another way to tell an effective story. So how did we develop our logo? Well, having a mascot certainly could make us stand out, and that was one of the first things that we had to decide for ourselves. We pulled the trigger on it for a lot of reasons. Number one is a bulldog is actually the number one mascot in America, so it's pretty popular. We also, as a family, have had a significant connection to bulldogs. In fact, we had a few of them at the time. And we identified with many qualities of a bulldog that we felt were embodied in our practice, such as fun, loyalty, dependability, and being a best-in-breed team. Plus, I gotta tell you, it sparks a lot of good conversations. What about your bio? If you're embarrassed to read it out loud to somebody else, I wonder if it sounds a lot like this, right? Hey, I'm great. I've been great for a while. I offer a lot of great products and services. I do great and awesome things. I have a whole history of being great. I've received a lot of great awards. You should check me out so we can be great together. Well, you might tell that, frankly, this probably doesn't come across the way that you might want it to. Yes, you may be great, and there's a lot of reasons why that can be important, but it's probably not something that your audience wants to hear. And it's certainly not something that they're using to make a decision as to whether or not they work with you. Compare that to this bio, and you can tell it's written very, very differently. I would highly encourage you to ask yourself a very simple question. What would it look like if my target audience wrote my bio for me? What about your website? What kind of website supports your practice? Maybe you've got one, maybe you've got several. Ask yourself the question, if somebody lands on my website, what do I want them to do? What kind of an experience do I want them to have? Your profile picture is another one that I think a lot of us overlook. What do you look like online as a professional? Is your profile picture a better version of your driver's license photo? Or did you know that a picture can also tell a story to your audience? If you can see from mine, I'm not looking directly at someone, but I'm staring confidently off into the distance. Kind of makes you wonder what I'm looking at, doesn't it? What about colors? Ever wonder the psychological message that colors give off? Probably not. But it's really, really important for you to think about. The colors for your practice, are they the ones that you want based off of the types of emotions that they give up? Or maybe you're somebody that works for a larger company, so you have to take on corporate colors. Maybe you're with Mass Mutual or State Farm or Fidelity or AXA. How can you effectively weave those corporate colors into your own personal brand identity and allow it to still support you in the digital realm? And what else do you need to be thinking about? From marketing materials to voicemails to attire? When you present things to your clients, whose marketing materials do you use? If you run an independent practice like ours and you use materials from several different companies, it's important to ask yourself this very critical question. What messages are they sending, and do those messages align with the way that I communicate my brand value? When someone calls you and leaves you a message, what will they hear? People leave us messages all the time, and we probably have never given it a second thought. But why not make that experience more fun and personal? Don't believe me? Feel free to give me a call on my cell phone, and you'll hear exactly what I'm talking about. And do you ever think about what you wear? Well, I bet you actually do. In fact, a lot of us think about what we wear. But do you have attire that fits your audience? And do you pay attention to the things that your audience wears? Because mirroring and matching matters a lot. Bottom line is, how consistent are you with your brand? It's critical to carry your brand across every medium of communication. And if you're going to do anything, it's critical that it's consistent. It's consistent in what you say, what you do, and it needs to cover all mediums of communication. Yeah? Even your socks. Well, maybe not your socks. Adding all these elements together is all about differentiating yourself from the pack, because it's a very busy space out there and there's a lot of financial professionals to choose from. How can you differentiate yourself in the right ways for the right reasons? Be a peacock in a sea of turtle doves. Well, how do I stand out online, Brian? You've got me convinced I need to do this. I'll tell you, in a digital world, content is king. 93% of buying decisions are influenced by digital and social media. So if online content influences nearly everything that we do, it's critical that we find a way to be strategic in this space. More good news. The right content also increases brand loyalty and can be the difference between having just a satisfied client to having a stark raving fan. But there's a problem. The wrong content can be deadly. The reason why people tune us out is because we don't demonstrate that we know them very well at all. Far too many financial professionals talk at their audience instead of talking with them and inviting them into a conversation. We're not very strategic, and sometimes we're not as thoughtful as I think we'd like to be. So what's the solution? Well, it's time to disrupt yourself. It's time to change the way that we market and reach new prospects. How can we develop a capacity for inbound marketing? Out with the old, in with the new. How can we have people come to us because of something that we offer instead of pursuing people or trying to go after them online? How can we engage in a meaningful way with our audience and meet them where they are? Have the right thought-provoking conversations and offer the right kind of content that they are looking for. How can we attract them to come to us? What is inbound marketing all about? Well, I want to make sure that I tell you a few things that are really important. First of all, inbound marketing takes time, and it's not for the faint of heart. It requires strategy. In fact, I recommend that you have a content calendar. It may cost you some money. SEO or search engine optimization and data mining, content development, they're not free. You may need somebody to do it for you, especially if you don't consider yourself a tech junkie like I do. And it may require a culture shift. This is a change, and change always comes with discomfort and many times resistance. It's also really critical in an online era and in an online world that you understand what is it like to find your target audience and what is their buyer persona. To be a great content developer, we need to get to know our audience by their actions and behaviors, and what do they actually do online. Not just looking at LinkedIn and Facebook profiles, or thinking we know how they might be behaving. How is our target audience already consuming our stuff online? These are the critical things that we want to find out. So ask yourself the following questions. Do you know how your website is found on search engines? Do your prospects already search for things? And if so, what are they looking for online as it relates to your profession? How many clicks do you get on your website and where do people go? Have you ever asked your clients or prospects what content they might want? Attraction is the name of the game. Understand the power of two-way communication, because in a digital marketplace, you can not only master proactive marketing to connect your brand to your target audience, but you can also draw in prospects like never before by producing engaging content that really lets you have tremendously valuable conversations. What is good content though? Well, first and foremost, you need to provide value. The best content has an offer to it. If it helps your audience move the needle and take a step, then that's something that's worth considering. For example, want to learn more? Download the free white paper right here. Can you have a website or a social media presence that is short, simple, and creative and leaves your audience wanting more? Are there things that you've said or done, videos that you can record that would allow somebody to get to know you a little bit while also solving a problem that they already have? Now more than ever before, we have the massive capacity to broadcast our message across a variety of channels and demonstrate our credibility in a myriad of ways never before seen in our lifetimes. What are some of the characteristics of effective content? Well, good content has the following common denominators. It is ultra specific. You don't want to try to solve every problem somebody may have. Try solving just one. It provides immediate gratification. Can somebody go, grab a quick bite, grab your stuff, and jet? It's easy to consume. Click here, listen here. Make it an easy experience. And it has a high perceived value, which means it needs to be significantly relevant and demonstrate your expertise. And finally, good content shifts the relationship. It should leave them wanting to know more and needing to reach out to you, because now that they realized while you help them with one small issue, their concern is probably a lot bigger than they realized. How do you meet your audience where they are? The new digital you needs to go where your target audience is. You need to go where your buyer persona tells you to go. So, are you on the right platforms? Are you on the right Facebook or LinkedIn groups? And if you are you asking the right questions in that space? How can you find the practical places and spaces where you need to be in order to not just survive, but thrive? I've got more good news. Recognize the marketing gold that's right in front of us. Word of mouth has become world of mouth. What used to take months of pounding the pavement, cocktail conversations at networking events, and refining good referral language after every client meeting can now be accelerated by building an army, yes, an army of virtual brand ambassadors. Not only can you find leads and opportunities online, but you can leverage the digital space to equip other people to tell your story for you. Now, how do you measure success? Because we don't want to just do things that work, we need to know that they work. Digital brand success is measured a little bit differently than probably some of the other things that we might be used to. The key word here is audience engagement. You'll know you're doing something right when you see your audience responding to your content and eventually to you. It's also important to take time to celebrate and connect with others online, whether it's a birthday or a milestone, or whether it's just something personal like celebrating a dog or a family trip. Find ways to connect meaningfully beyond what you do professionally, because this will bring people in. Are you comfortable having an all virtual client appointment? Are you comfortable meeting prospects online? Are you comfortable offering a no obligation virtual consultation? These are critical elements to your digital success. Engagement leads to action, and that should ultimately lead to a client conversion, which is, as we know, the ultimate prize. So what steps do you need to take? If you're sitting here thinking to yourself, I'm firmly convinced I want to do this, I want to become a digital ninja and master the digital domain, let me take you through 4 steps. First, you need to start by seeing yourself where you are. So audit your virtual presence to see what other people already see. I mean, when's the last time you Googled yourself? Next, be sure that you build the right digital buyer persona. Because if you don't, you're going to miss a lot, and your target audience is going to miss you. This step should tell you exactly where you need to go and what you need to do to generate the right content. And as we all know, content is king. You need to create a year-long digital marketing plan, which should be a part of your larger business and sales plan already. And finally, you need to execute that digital plan alongside your sales and marketing plan so that you're firing on all levels and taking maximum advantage of every opportunity out there. I really need to make this clear. The digital frontier is just one part of the sales and marketing puzzle, but it's a critical one. Lastly, if you build it right, I want to encourage you to know one thing is certain. If you build it right, they will come. I want to thank you for making me a part of your top of the table journey today. I hope this session treated you well, gave you some tips and tricks, and is going to help you come back next year.